It's so important as you start to scale your company that you're only working with your ideal type of clients. And sometimes that's not easy to do because as you start to scale, naturally you just need to bring on more and more work. So sometimes the danger is you can just be taking work from anyone and they could be less than ideal. And I've had my fair share of wrong sort of clients that I've worked for, and I've really regretted it. You know, the type of ones where you start the job, everything seems to be going okay, and then all of a sudden they're out to get you, and every extra you put in, they're trying to, not pay for it and screw you over in some way. And they're just the wrong clients to work for, aren't they? And oftentimes you get a bit of a gut feeling when you're pricing this work up that you shouldn't be working for this sort of person. So we want to get away from those type of clients. But there's also other clients that are absolutely lovely. They're brilliant, lovely people, but they still might not be your ideal client. Maybe they haven't got enough money. They might not be affluent enough for your type of business. So, they may be able to afford the initial build, but when there's an unforeseen or there's an extra that comes out, all of a sudden it's an absolute disaster because they genuinely haven't got the money to pay for it. And that might not be the ideal client for you either. Or maybe you're really hoping to get onto larger scale projects, but you keep attracting smaller clients. You want to do £500,000 projects, but you keep attracting people that are sending you £50,000 or £100,000 projects. So that's not your ideal client either. So what I just want to do in this video is just share with you a little ebook that we've got and just talk you through it. It's called The Client Magnet. And I really believe that you can attract your perfect construction clients with ease, just like a magnet can attract. So we want to be able to do that in our business. But there's 3 things that have got to happen in your construction company for you to be able to attract the right type of client for your business. And the first thing is that you must understand who your ideal client is. You've really got to build out a detailed picture of who that person is going to be for you. Now, it's quite easy to do this because no doubt you've probably worked for your ideal client in the past. That perfect client, you think, oh, they were brilliant. If only I could have more of those. And you want to build out what was the personality profile of that client. Now, we call this an avatar. You're literally building up a fake character who's your perfect client. And you really want to list down all the character traits of this person. Where do they live? How much money do they potentially earn? What type of job do they have? And the more detailed you can get on this avatar, the more it becomes real to you that you're actually talking to a real person. And we're going to use talking to someone a little bit later in the way we communicate with them. But if you don't know who you're talking to, then you're not going to be able to build up this avatar and get across to them. So really start building out this avatar of who your perfect client is, because every different person is going to have a different type of need. So, you might get a stay-at-home mum that's got a family. She's going to be completely different to maybe a professional doctor who hasn't got any kids and is completely career-minded. They're 2 different avatars, and you need to talk to both of them completely differently. And the way you're talking at the moment is the way you're currently attracting the type of clients that you're getting to you. So that's number 1, get that avatar sorted and learn how to talk to them. So understand who that client is. The second thing you need to do is once you've built out that avatar, you need to start thinking of what sort of problems does this type of client have? So what are their frustrations and what are their pain points? So again, if we use the example of the stay-at-home mum, her pain points might be that she hasn't got enough room for her family. So she wants more space for the kids to play, and they might want a playroom or something like that. Or when she's having the work done, she wants to make sure it's nice and safe, the site's safe, so that her kids are not going to be in danger while the building work's being done. But there's going to be a multitude of problems that the mum is going to have, and there's also going to be a multitude of problems that, as we said earlier, the professional doctor might have. He's going to have a different set of problems. So point number 2 that you'll notice in this book is we start listing out the problems and frustrations that your ideal client has. And the reason we do that is because it then comes on to point number 3, is that we want your USP, your unique selling point, we want it to solve those problems that those clients have. And if you can uniquely solve a client's problem, then naturally they're going to be attracted to you. And all we need to do then is start talking about our USP in our marketing. So if our USP is that, we're nice and safe, we've got people, like one thing we used to have is we were, I think it was DMB registered, I can't remember what it's called now, but it was where our workers on site were safety checked so that they could work with children and they could work in schools and things like that. So that was one of our selling points because we were always working for families. Now, you might have a completely different selling point and a completely different avatar, but that's okay. Whatever your avatar is, you just need to make sure you're solving their problems. So they're the first three things you need to do. Nail that avatar, get really crystal clear about who it is you want to serve, who is your ideal client, and you go for them and them only. The second thing you need to do is find out what are their problems and frustrations. And the third thing you need to do is come up with a USP that solves those problems and frustrations. And then once you've done all of that, you then need to be able to talk to that client directly through your social media channels, through your blogs, the way your website's set up, all the copy on that. And that's the way you start attracting your ideal client to you. Because what we want to happen is we want them to read your post or read your website and go, wow, that is just for me. He is talking directly to me. So grab yourself a copy of that ebook and start working through that and start understanding who your client is and how you can solve their problems. And naturally, you'll find that you'll magnetize and you'll attract your ideal client to you. Hope it helps a bit.